right, as usual on a Sunday morning, Patrick, the odds are not out yet for next week's event, the RBC Canadian Open. We have seen the field. Rory, of course, is coming back. Ludvig Oberg, you mentioned, is in the field. Sam Burns. I'm trying to go through some of the names that are out there. Obviously, all the Canadians, Corey Connors and Nick Taylor and Taylor Pendrith and Mac Hughes are all going to be there. TPC Toronto, which is one we haven't seen yet, looks like a beast. About 7,400 yards on the card. There we see it, 7,389, par 70. So this is a big golf course. I think it's going to play a little tougher than people might think. Usually when the PGA Tour goes to a new golf course, and I've said this time and again, they usually err on the side of caution, and they won't set it up to really beat these guys over the head. I think this one could play difficult just based on the numbers. I mean, you see 7,400 as a par 70, and it feels like one that they're not going to go 25 under on. Patrick, any thoughts on either TPC Toronto or the field?
Yeah, they got the rough up around 4 inches. I think it's 3 3/4. And then looking at the tournament fact sheet, area had a long winter and a wet spring. Early spring ice storms caused a week and a half delay in preparation due to course cleanup. And I was watching a video with Taylor Pendrith going through a few key holes. I think it's set up for, honestly, a pretty exciting tournament. Yeah. You look at 14, the short par 3, that's a great hole. 15 is a hole that they're going to be able to move up and possibly make drivable. And then you look at the finish, it's very tough. And on 18, they actually remove some of the greenside bunkering and put short grass in front. So if you come up short of that, there's water in front, ball might roll back into the water, which is awesome to see. Third fewest bunkers on the PGA Tour this course is going to have. Outside of that, it's kind of pretty average green size, average fairway width. And I think total driving is something I'm going to look at. I think you're going to have to be a pretty good driver of the golf ball here to have a good week.
Look at that stretch. 16, 513, 17 plays 530, 18, of course, a par 5, 561. You better be driving your golf ball. I'm guessing. Again, I haven't seen much, but it feels like driving, long irons. It should be a week where the guys who are the big, beefy, brawny ball strikers should play well. You got any names in mind yet?
I said driving, and then like Sam Burns came to mind just because it seems like he's been playing some better golf as of late. Had the great round on Friday, kind of like sort of in the mix here. And then one of the Hogards will be interesting. I haven't decided which one. It's probably going to be Rasmus, but he's the one I'm looking at. And then maybe Sung Jae also.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a list here of about 20 names.
Okay.
A couple guys with stars. Sam Burns has a star next to him. Hoygaards have a star next to them. I didn't even separate them yet. I'm like, you got to go through. Like, I guarantee at some point, and it's going to happen to all of us, we're going to get burned. You're going to go like, oh, I took Rasmus, and you're like, oh, I got a big Rasmus ticket. And you see Rasmus up there, and you look at, your account, and you're like, oh, man, I bet Nikolai by mistake, and, I'm not going to win this thing. The guys I have stars next to, Sam Burns, who you mentioned, Eric Cole, who's played some good golf. I had him last week at Colonial, but this might be a better fit for him. Kurt Kitayama starting to come around. I know everyone liked him early in the year, and the stats looked really good. The price was too short for me. His price has gone up a little bit lately, and he's a guy that I'll like. Thorbjorn Olesen maybe a little bit. Tends to play well on bigger golf courses. I'll probably get fooled into Keith Mitchell again, at least for the first round. Taylor Pendrith we mentioned. And then maybe my favorite play on the whole board, I can't wait. This is a ladder play for me. I don't know if I'll get to the outright, but this is a top 40, top 20, top 10, maybe even a little sprinkle on top 5. I have been betting Johnny Kiefer on the Korn Ferry Tour for a while now. He's really good. He's gone from like college to the mini tours to the Korn Ferry, and he's already locked up his card for next year. He's in the field in Canada this coming week. I think he's really, really special player. I'm going to be betting Johnny Kiefer with the hopes that this is a house money kind of play. Whatever he does can only help, can't hurt. And so why not go out there and have a good week?
Yeah, that's a good one. Top, what is he, like top 85 in the world, top 90 in the world.
Yeah, got him into the PGA.
Yeah, just running through the Korn Ferry Tour. So I like that one.
Let's see if we got any more questions here. No questions yet. If you guys have any questions before we move back over to the Memorial for a few minutes here, any other questions about the RBC Canadian Open, let us know. I'm going to throw a few more names out at you, Patrick, see if anybody here gets you interested. Chris Gotterup, Rio Satsune, who we've talked about a lot on the show, has played some really good golf recently. Isaiah Salinda, I wrote down. Again, you're trying to find these guys who are ball strikers and have played well on some bigger golf courses. I think it's going to be a tough week to prognosticate. I think it's a week where the guys don't know the golf course, should level the playing field a little bit. Here we go. Joseph Boza in the chat asks, can Rory and Ludvig do well with the spotlight on them before Oakmont? I don't necessarily think the spotlight.
The spotlight's it's too bright.
Yeah.
Turn off those lights.
The big lights of Toronto are going to just absolutely intimidate them. Yeah, of course they can play well. Look, there's a lot of stuff swirling around Rory right now. I think it's worth us getting into a little Rory discussion here. If we're talking the RBC Canadian Open, he's going to be the favorite. It's probably going to be a pretty short favorite. I am staying away from Rory for the time being. I don't know. He was like everybody's darling a month ago, Patrick, after he won the green jacket and got the career slam. And ever since then, it's just been nothing but bad PR.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, honestly. If there's something personal going on, if he's kind of just had it, it's just been a really weird month. I think we've talked about total driving. Obviously, he's one of the best drivers of all time, if not the best. But his 3 starts since the Masters, he's driven it poorly in all 3, so that might be cause for concern. But yeah, he's speaking to the media on Wednesday, I believe, which will be nice to hear. I'm sure people will have plenty of questions for him, and we'll get to see where he's at. I imagine he's probably going to be kind of short again, like he was at the PGA Championship pre-tournament, and then obviously not talking too much or at all during the tournament. But Ludvig proven wrong.
Yeah, and as far as Ludvig, I'm not really sure what to think of him right now. Not playing very good golf. Maybe this week will be his first, or I guess his second top 40 finish or top 30 finish in the last 5 starts, which just hasn't been very good golf for Ludvig, which seems unfathomable. I mean, when you watch him, you're like, how does this guy not finish in the top 5 every single week? He, swings easy at it, hits it 330 down the middle. Is a good iron player, but I just don't understand how Ludvig ever doesn't play well, but it hasn't been great for him. My guess is that the reason he added this to his schedule is because he knows he's not playing well, feels like he needs one before Oakmont. And that's never really a good sign for a top player.
No, it's been honestly bad across the board. You take out the majors and he hasn't putted well. Short game's always been meh. And then iron play has not been good so far, outside of really that one win at the Farmers or at the Genesis Invitational. And then the driver, which we talk about it as being so good, it has kind of been trending downwards. And at the PGA Championship, he drove the ball pretty poorly. So look, he's the type of guy, regardless of form, he can go out and win the golf tournament just because he's that damn talented. But he's not really showing any signs to suggest that's going to happen next week.
Josh put in our chat that Luke Clanton is also making his professional debut. I'm less excited about that than I might have been a year ago. He's still really good. The Luke Clanton mania is kind of subsided for me. I know there's a show on CBS, which I should probably promote. Luke Clanton, I forget the exact title of it. I just saw it a few minutes ago, but a half-hour special on Luke Clanton before round 4 coverage of the Memorial today. So check that out, and maybe you'll be a big fan. Maybe you'll start betting him coming up this week. I will probably stay away from Luke just for a little bit, but Josh also points out the Kashmir Keith first-round leader bet is basically a lock. Thursday, Scotty is back at TPC Toronto coming up this week. Before we move on to the Memorial, we mentioned Oakmont tangentially. We've got the U.S. Open coming up in just a week and a half. Are there any players, Patrick, that have jumped out to you that have made you said, I want to get on them early as far as outright tickets for Oakmont? Or has Scotty taken all the air out of the balloon and basically said, all right, well, I'm not doing anything with Oakmont because Scotty's going to go out there and win by 6?
So Scotty Scheffler is plus 280 to win the U.S. Open.
Yes.
just came across my desk, which is steep, which is
Yeah.
which is very very steep. Wow. That's intense. I kind of need to take a breath after seeing that one. Has anyone shown me anything? Honestly, no. If anything, it's like the gap between Scotty and everyone else, barring a collapse today or something crazy. For as much as people wanted to say contracted with Rory's start to the season, it seems like it's expanded as far as ever almost. So I have to do some thinking of how I'm going to bet the U.S. Open. Xander Schauffele is just like a guy with his U.S. Open record, and him playing better is probably the guy people are going to key in on, given that he's 18-1 right now. Yeah. And he's passed Rahm, he's passed Bryson and Rory, obviously, and that's a price people can stomach. He's probably the guy I could see being like the most popular bet come U.S. Open week.
Yeah, and I'll be on that a little bit too. I wanted to see something from Xander this week. I said the other day I didn't need him to win this week, didn't even need him to contend. I just wanted to see some form from him. Comes into the final round tied for 12th place. I feel like I've seen enough. And again, it's not – I think Xander's going to go out there and, beat up on Scotty and win at Oakmont. It's just – yeah, that's probably as far down the board as I'll go. As much as I thought the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow, like – the winner is not coming out of that top tier. It's not going to be someone who's 50-1, 100-1, as much as we'd like to find a long shot. I feel even more so that sentiment for the U.S. Open that it's I might even take Rory out of the mix. It's Scotty, it's Bryson, it's Rahm, or it's Xander. And I feel like if I could get those four guys against the field, I would probably take it at a really short number, Patrick.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it seems like, honestly, I mean, I don't think you can discount Rory quite yet, but I'd be shocked if it's not one of those five, right?
Yeah. Somebody told me the other day, they're like, man, I got Harris English at 150-1 for Oakmont. What do you think? And I'm like, I really like Harris English. He was runner-up at the PGA. I really like the 150-1 number. You've done nothing wrong. You're just not going to win any money. I don't know what to tell you. Like it's a really good bet that's not going to win money, and you're going to see a lot of that at the U.S. Open. That's going to be the pat on the back bets that we see. You're like, wow, great bet. He finished in 7th place, and you picked him to win, and you were like that close. Except Scotty Scheffler beat him by 7. That's just what's going to happen. We'll talk so much more about the U.S. Open and Oakmont and the RBC Canadian Open coming up this week over the next few days on the early wedge. Let's